Jesus went off to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, or the Sea of Tiberias, and a large crowd followed him, impressed by the signs he gave by curing the sick. Jesus climbed the hillside and sat down there with his disciples. It was shortly before the Jewish feast of Passover. Looking up, Jesus saw the crowd approaching and said to Philip, "Where can we buy some food for these people to eat?" He only said this to test Philip. He himself knew exactly what he was going to do. Philip answered, 200 denarii would only buy enough to give them a small piece each. One of the disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said, "There is a small boy here with 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what is that between so many people?" Jesus said to them, "Make the people sit down." There was plenty of grass there, and as many as 5,000 men sat down. Then Jesus took the loaves, gave thanks, and gave them all out, all those who were sitting already. He then did the same with the fish, giving out as much as they wanted. When they had eaten enough, he said to the disciples, "Pick up the pieces left over so that nothing gets wasted." So they picked them up and filled 12 hampers with scraps left over from the meal of 5 barley loaves. The people, seeing the sign that he had given, said, "This really is the Messiah who is to come into the world." Jesus, now seeing that they were about to come and take him by force and make him king, escaped back into the hills by himself. The Gospel of the Lord. Which of the attributes of God would you say is brought out clearly into this first reading and the Gospel? Our God has numerous thousands of attributes, but there is one attribute of God that comes out clearly highlighted into this first reading and the Gospel. Which of the attributes of God? Question 2. Why did Jesus run away from those who wanted to make him king? And what can we learn? What lesson can we learn from this episode about Christian leadership? Question 3. St. Paul teaches us that there is one body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God and Father of all. What are the implications of this teaching for our Christian community today?
Glory to Jesus.
Honor to me.
Single very strong attribute of God is compassion.
Compassion. A round of applause. Any other suggestion on that?
Why did Jesus run away from those who wanted to make him king? He ran away because it was not yet his time to be king. And what that teaches us today is that you don't do everything just because you want to be king or you want to be a leader. As a leader, you have been destined by God, and at his time you will be made a leader. And when you are made a leader, try to let your leadership be the one that will serve the people and not one who will be served by the people.
Okay, round of applause. I want some more suggestions on question 1, please. Compassion is not wrong, but I want something more specific.
I want to answer question number 1. Which attribute of God, of our God, would you say is brought out clearly in today's first reading and Gospel? I think that is generosity.
Hey, a round of applause. A round of applause. A round of applause. You see, my assistant and I are thinking in the same way. Yeah. Because the title of my homily is the abundant generosity of God. It's related to compassion, but it's more clearly generosity. Okay. Yes.
Question
another
number
assistant
2.
pastor.
Why did Jesus run away from those who wanted to make him king? He ran away because he was humble and he didn't wanted to be king now.
Okay, didn't want these people who are coming to hail him. He's a humble king. A round of applause. Because the kind of king that these people want to make him is not the type he wants.
I want to answer question number 2.
Now they have taken over, right?
He didn't want to be king because he didn't want them to know that he's the son of God.
Not yet, eh? He didn't want a round of applause for her. He didn't want them yet to know that he's the son of God. Okay, good. There is a hand at in white. Yes, he's been having that hand up.
I think in first reading and the gospel, we see a God who is sensitive to the needs of his people, who is concerned to the needs of the people of his people, and who shows care to the needs of his people.
Care, concern, and sensitivity and compassion. A round of applause.
And then
but I needed only one word though. I needed only one attribute. One.
His sensitivity.
Sensitivity. Okay. Thank you.
Then question number 2. Jesus' kingship is not that of the world. His kingship is not the kingship of the world. And from him we learn that whatever we do in our generosity or in whatever we do, it is not for self-glorification, but to the glory of God.
Okay, because those who wanted to make him king, they had their own idea of kingship, and that is not Jesus' idea. Actually, a child like this answered during the first mass something very important. He said Jesus didn't need them to make him king because Jesus is king already. Isn't that smart? The child said Jesus did not need them to make him king because Jesus was already king. So leave them alone with their own worldly idea of king, since he knows that he is already king. Yes?
I'm attending question number 3.
Yes.
St. Paul teaches us that there is one body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and Father of all. What are the implications of these teachings for our Christian community today? On a general sense, the implications is that most of us, especially those of us outside the Catholic Church, made so many mistakes, like when somebody is baptized and is brought to their church, they do not accept the baptism they see and they rebaptize that person, and it's a grave mistake.
Can you give us something, the implication for our community here? No, don't worry about what people do outside our church.
Now, within the Catholic Church, I will rather commend that the Catholics have actually practiced this in so many ways, showing truly that we have one body, one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, one baptism, one God, and the Father of all.
Okay, a round of applause for him. Thank you. Okay, I've come back here and finally with Charles here.
Glory to Jesus. I'm attempting question 3, just to add to what the brother said. The implication for our community today is we should banish individualism. We should be more united. We shouldn't say this is my own, this is my territory, or all that. Because since it's one spirit, one hope, one Lord, one faith, it connotes unity. So we should banish anything that has to do with individualism or wanting to sectionalize. Yes, exactly.
Actually, we have a lot of problem with sectionalism. A round of applause for him. Okay, we move on now. The first part is to talk about God who intervenes to feed hungry people. God